everyone. So today we will be going to discuss about pharmacodynamics. So what is wait, ulit. Good day everyone. So my name is Saichal Gatep and I will be discussing about pharmacodynamics. So ano nga ba ang pharmacodynamics? Pharmacodynamic is the study of the effects drug has on the body, including their biochemical, physiological, and molecular mechanism of action. It is often simply described as what the drug does to the body. So here are the focuses: mechanism of action, drug receptor, interaction, dose response relationship, therapeutic and toxic effects. Next slide. So, what are drug receptors? Most drug receptors are proteins or polypeptides. Their shape and electrical charge match the drug molecule, allowing binding. Receptors may be located on the cell surface or inside the cell. Next slide. So, how drugs binding produces a response? When a drug binds to its receptor, it triggers molecular signaling inside the cell. This signal leads to change in cell function and produces the clinical effect. Many receptors span the cell membrane, and drug binding causes a change on the intercellular side. Next slide. So, what are the four major mechanisms of transmembrane signaling? First, we have the intracellular receptor. Lipid-soluble drugs cross the cell membrane and bind receptors inside the cell. These receptors often influence gene expression, for example, corticosteroids, vitamin D, thyroid hormone. So, lipid-soluble drugs enter the cell and it binds the receptors inside sa loob ng cytoplasm or sa nucleus. Eto, it changed the gene expression and nagpo-produce ito ng it produces slow but long-lasting effects gaya ng corticosteroids. Next. So here, the image shows a lipid-soluble signaling molecule pag nagko-cross sa plasma membrane and pag nasa loob na siya, nagba-bind siya into an intracellular receptor. And the receptor drug complex move papunta siya nucleus. So, therein, na-attach ito sa DNA and nag-change dito yung gene expression leading to a new protein production. Next slide. Second, we had the enzyme-linked receptors. Drug binds to the intracellular domain of a transmembrane receptor. Binding activates an enzyme system such as tyrosine kinase inside the cell. For example, we have insulin and PDGF. So, drug binds into a receptor on the cell surface, activating the internal enzyme system like tyrosine. Eto, tinitrigger nito and sinisignal yung pathways na nagko-control sa growth, metabolism, or cell function. For example, nandyan naman, insulin. Next slide. So, here sa image na to, the signaling molecules bind to the receptor on the cell surface. So, it causing the receptor to change shape and ina-activate nito yung mga enzyme part inside the cell. So, this activated enzyme then converts a substrate into an effector, which triggers a specific cellular response. Next slide. Third, we have the ligand-gated ion channels. Drug binds to a surface receptor that opens or closes an ion channel. This rapidly alters membrane potential and cell activity. For example, acetylcholine receptors or skeletal muscle or GABA receptors. So, dito sa ligand-gated ions, drug binds to a membrane receptor na nag-open or close, open or close ion channels. So here, this quickly change the cell's electrical activity. Next slide. In this image, the ligand attaches to the receptor on the cell surface, it causing the ion channel to open and allowing ions to flow across the membrane. Without the ligand, the channels stay closed, so no ions pass through. Next slide. Lastly, we have the G protein coupled receptors. Drug binds to one transmembrane receptor linked to an intracellular G protein. The G protein activates enzymes or second messengers inside the cell. For examples, we have the B-adrenergic agonist and acetylcholine at parasympathetic synapse. Next slide. So, sa image na to, a G-protein coupled receptor had a 7 transmembrane receptor that upon binding on the signaling molecule, ina-activate nito and nag-associated siya sa heterotrimeric G protein by causing it to exchange to GDP or GTP, initiating an intracellular signal response. Next slide. Now we proceed to dose response. The dose response relationship explains how a drug's effect change as its done increases. At low doses, the response is small, but as more drug is administered, the effect becomes stronger until it reaches a maximum. So, here's the dose response. The basic idea is that as you increase a drug's concentration, the more na receptors are activated and yung mga drug effect increases. I mean, the drug effect increases, but this only continues up to a certain point when lahat ng receptors are occupied and the other drug reaches its maximal effect. Next slide. Next, we have the dose response relationship. Drug response increases as drug concentration rises. More receptors become occupied, which is lead to greater effect. Response eventually reaches a maximal effect. Dose response curve. Natural curve is convex, hyperbolic, increasing dose. This means diminishing increase in response as saturation approaches. Shows relationship between dose and effect. So, dito sa dose response curve, this curve, it shows how the drug effect changes with increasing dose. Initially, the increase is step and proportional. As you get closer to the receptor saturation, the effect increases more slowly until mawala ito. So, sa dose response relationship naman, yung concentration nito, mas maraming receptor ang magiging activated doon and yung mga drug effect nag-i-increase naman. But nagko-continue lang ito pag nandun na sila sa talagang certain point when lahat ng receptor ay talagang occupied na. Next slide. Log dose, which is sigmoid curve. Converting those to logarithmic scale produces a sigmoid curve. Linear mind portion allows easy comparison of drugs, more accurate for determining drug potency. So, sa log dose, When we plot the drug dose on a logarithmic scale, yung curve, it will becomes S-shaped or sigmoid. Kaya siya tinawag na sigmoid curve. The middle of this curve becomes linear. This linear portion makes it easier to compare drugs and determine their potency. Next, we have the ED50 or EC50. ED50, it is an effective dose with 50%, dose that produces 50% of maximal effect. The EC50, same concept but based on the concentration. Key indicator of drug potency. So dito naman, yung ED50 stands for the effective dose that produces 50% of the maximum response, while EC50 refers to concentration instead of dose. This value is key for comparing how potent different drugs are. The lower the ED or EC50, the more potent the drug. Next slide. So here are the key pharmacologic terms: potency, maximal effect, therapeutic index, agonist, antagonist, synergism, additivity, potentiation, idiosyncratic reaction, hypersensitivity, tolerance, tachyphylaxis. So dito, these are important concepts related to the drug interactions and responses. Potency and maximal effect compare drugs. Therapeutic index helps determine safety. Agonist activated receptor, antagonist naman, siya yung nagba-block sa kanila. Then synergism, additivity and potentiation describe how drugs work together. Tapos, yung idiosyncratic reaction naman and hypersensitivity are unusual or allergic reaction, and tolerance to wait lang. Ang tolerance and tachyphylaxis, nire-refer nito to reduce responsiveness or over time. Next slide. Potency, maximal effect, and therapeutic index. Next slide po. Potency refers to the dose or concentration of a drug needed to produce 50% of its maximal response. A lower ED50 means a drug is more potent. For example, if drug A has an ED50 of 1 mg and drug B has an ED50 of 5 mg, drug A is 5 times more potent. So dito, potency refers to how much of a drug is needed to produce a certain effect. We compare potency using the ED50, which is the dose that gives 50% of the drug's maximum response. A lower ED50 means the drug is more potent. For example, if drug A only needs 1 mg to reach 50% effect while drug B needs 50 mg, then drug A is 5 times more potent. Next slide. Maximal effect, which is the Emax, is the greatest possible response a drug can produce, regardless of dose. Potency and maximal effect are different. Two drugs may have the same potency but different maximal effect. So, dito sa maximal effect, ito yung highest response of a drug that can produce if you keep increasing the dose. So, dito, this is a different from potency. Magkaiba sila. Dito, there are two drugs may need the same dose to reach 50% effect, but one of them may be capable of producing a much larger overall response than the other one. Next slide. Therapeutic index. It measures the drug's safety. It is the ratio of the dose that causes toxicity or death in 50% of a test population to the dose that produces a beneficial effect in 50%. A small therapeutic index indicates a narrow safety margin, meaning toxic effects may occur close to therapeutic doses. For example, theophylline has a narrow therapeutic index and can produce toxicity even at a near therapeutic levels. So, dito naman, the therapeutic index shows how safe a drug is. It's the ratio between the toxic or lethal dose for 50% of subjects and the effective dose for 50%. A larger number means a larger number means a wider safety margin, meaning you're less likely to accidentally cross into toxicity when dosing. Next slide. Mm,
Ako, wait, ako sa So, we go further dito sa therapeutic index. So, sabi nga kanina, yung therapeutic index is measure of safety siya. So, dinedefine niya yung range ng drug concentration sa mga patients na mataas yung masyadong mataas yung blood nila to work enough but low enough to avoid causing harm. So may tatlong zone tayo dito. We have the toxic concentration, ineffective concentration, and the therapeutic index. So first we go sa toxic concentration, which is yung red. So sa level na to is where the drug starts causing harmful side effects or toxicity. So we must keep this concentration below this line lang. Next is we have the therapeutic index. Kumbaga, si therapeutic index is siya yung sweet spot. So, siya yung concentration window kung saan yung drug is both safe and effective siya. And next, we have the ineffective concentration, which is itong yellow zone. So, itong ineffective concentration kasi kumbaga siya yung minimum level na required para sa drug na mag-produce ng its desired effect. So, kung yung concentration na 'to is bumaba, so yung drug daw is hindi na siya nagpo-provide ng any benefit. Now, let's go sa sa wide therapeutic index and sa narrow therapeutic index. So, yung therapeutic index natin kasi is calculated by dividing the toxic concentration by the effective concentration. So, kapag large yung ratio natin, means mas safe yung drug. So, dito sa wide therapeutic index kasi, sabi dito, large margin of safety. So, makikita naman natin na wide yung therapeutic index natin dyan. So, yung mga drugs under this is easy sila na ma-manage kasi yung toxic dose is masyadong far from the effective dose. So, uh, yun nga, there is a large number of error when dosing. Next is we have the tawag na dito, the narrow therapeutic index, so small margin of safety. So, nagre-require daw siya ng therapeutic drug monitoring. So, yung mga drugs under this narrow therapeutic index kasi is dangerous drugs. Kasi nga, yung toxic dose is very close dun sa effective dose. So, yung small change lang sa dose or kung paano i-metabolize ng patient yung drug is pwede ring ma-shift from effective range into the toxic toxic range. So, kung ano, magre-require tayo dito sa our therapeutic index kasi sa NTID monitoring, uh, uh, our therapeutic index drug monitoring, yung patients na under this drug is nagre-require sila ng frequent blood tests called the therapeutic drug monitoring na. So para ma-ensure na yung drug level stays precisely in that narrow, so safe window. Next is we have the agonist versus the antagonist. So dito makikita natin, dito pa lang, basahin natin first. So, sabi dito, si agonist daw is nagba-bind and nag-activate ng receptor, nag-i-stimulate ng response, nagpo-possess ng intrinsic activity, nagmi-mimics ng natural body substances, while si antagonist natin is nagba-bind siya sa receptor but does not activate. Sabi pa dito, blocks and inhibits response, lacks of intrinsic activity, and pine-prevent yung substances from binding and acting. So, kung aanuhin natin silang dalawa, isipin natin na yung receptor is siya yung lock. Ang example ko kasi is the padlock and the key. So, si receptor siya si lock. Ngayon, si agonist is siya si activator key or siya yung talagang key ng ng padlock na yon. So, kunwari ito yung padlock, pag like bind natin si tawag na dyan, pag bind natin si agonist, and kapag tinurn natin siya, is mag-activate siya, magkakaroon siya ng response. So, they have intrinsic activity, meaning they can initiate effect. While itong si agonist kasi, sabihin natin, di ba, sometimes merong ganon, meron yung padlock, tapos meron kang key, pero hindi siya yung talagang key. Pero nag-fit lang siya dun sa padlock na yun. Pero kapag igagalaw mo siya, hindi mo siya na-open or what, as in, mag-i-stay lang siya ng gano'n. Hindi mo siya yung maiikot, not like agonist, not like yung true na key. Kapag inikot mo is mag-o-open siya. Pero si antagonist kasi is hindi siya gano'n. Nagba-bind lang siya sa receptor pero hindi natin siya wala siyang hindi natin siya hindi siya makaka-initiate ng any response. Wala siyang intrinsic activity. So, kumbaga binablock lang ni antagonist siya. Yung binablock niya lang basta binablock niya. Basta yun, kung isipin na lang natin na si receptor is siya si si padlock, while si agonist is the activator key, while si antagonist is siya yung blocker key. Next, so sabi nga dito, agonist is a drug that binds to a receptor, so may affinity, and nag-initiate siya ng cellular response or cellular effect, so meron siyang efficacy. Next is, we have types of agonists. We have the full agonist and the partial agonist. So, sabi dito, full agonist, nagbibigay daw siya ng um, nagbibigay ng maximal possible response by fully, wait lang guys. Okay. So sabi dito, again, si full agonist daw is nagbibigay ng maximal possible response by fully activating the receptor. So it reaches 100% possible effect. So may high efficacy daw siya. Example here is the phenylephrine. So si full agonist daw is siya yung most efficient key. So nagbabind siya sa receptor and nagpo-produce siya ng absolute maximum response sa kung saan capable yung isang cell. So, yun nga, kino-consider siya na kino-consider siya to have high efficacy. Next is we have the partial agonist. So, si partial agonist daw is nagbabind sa receptor but has less efficacy than a full agonist. So, even at maximal dose, it can only produce a submaximal response. So, example natin dito is the aripiprazole. So, kumbaga, si partial agonist is inefficiently siya. So, nagbabind lang siya, but only causes submaximal response. So, even if uh, even if you cover every single receptor with partial agonist, hindi mo makukuha yung full effect na kung ano yung napro-provide ni full agonist. So, if yung partial agonist daw is present alongside a full agonist, it can act lang as a blocker, parang antagonist lang by competing for the receptor site. So, gets ba? Si full agonist daw is nagbibigay siya ng full maximal response while si partial agonist is submaximal response. So, parang gano'n din siya. Kumbaga si, tawag nito, si full agonist is siya si agonist while si partial agonist is si antagonist. Ang pinagkaiba lang ni partial agonist at ni antagonist, may submaximal effect si partial agonist while si antagonist is wala. So, yun. Next. Oh, sabi dito, no, a partial agonist can act as an antagonist by competing and preventing a full agonist from binding. So, take note natin yan, guys, na si partial agonist daw is pwede siyang mag-act as antagonist. Yun nga yung sinabi ko kanina, by competing with and preventing a full agonist from binding. Next. So, antagonist na tayo. So, si antagonist daw is a drug, is a drug that binds to a receptor, may affinity siya, nagbabind siya, but causes no response, so zero efficacy. Antagonists inhibit or block the agonist action by occupying the receptor site, preventing other drugs or endogenous chemicals from reaching it. So, yung primary function ni antagonist is to block or prevent. So, examples of antagonism is competitive agonism is a mechanism. So, nage-gets ba guys? Gano'n lang, parang kumbaga si agonist kasi is positive side siya while si antagonist kasi is parang negative side siya. Kabaliktaran lang ni agonist si antagonist. Next. Types of antagonists. First, we have the chemical antagonist. So, direct chemical interaction between two drugs leading to inactivation of one or both. So, chemical interaction daw siya between two drugs. Pero kapag nag-interact na sila para i-inactivate yung isa or pareho silang mai-inactivate. So, next is the functional antagonist. Two drugs act on different receptors or system but produce opposite effect that cancel each other out. So, kumbaga, si functional antagonism is physiologic, this is a physiologic block or not a receptor block. So, yung drugs na, yung mga drugs under the functional antagonism is hindi sila nagpa-fight over the same receptor. So, example natin dito yung drug na nagko-constrict ng airways is countered by a drug that makes the airway relax, which is the epinephrine. So, nagka-act sila both, they both act on completely different targets sa body. So, next is we have the competitive tawag na dito, we have the competitive antagonist. So, a drug has affinity for a receptor but no efficacy, blocking the active agonist. So, the effect can often be overcome by increasing the concentration of the active agonist. So, yung mechanism kasi ni competitive agonist is nagfa-fight siya, fights the agonist for the exact same binding site. So, yung effect nito is yung fight na yun is reversible. So, if you simply increase yung dose ng agonist, you can overwhelm the agonist and still achieve the maximum effect. So, sa yeah, the maximum effect. Next is, okay, we have the drug interactions. So, sa drug interactions, we have the synergism, the additivity, and the potentation. So, si synergism daw is siya yung um, effect ng two drugs acting together is greater than the sum of their individual effects. So, yan. Next is the additivity. So, the combined effect of two drugs is the simply linear sum of their separate effects of often to a maximal effect. Next is the potentation, a special case of synergism where one drug has no effect on its own, but it can increase the activity of the other drug. Next is terms for drug responsiveness and pharmacogenetics. We have the idiosyncrasy and tolerance. So idiosyncrasy, an unusual or unexpected effect in a small number of people, often opposite to the predicted effect. Tolerance is decreasing intensity of response to a drug over time, requiring a higher dose to achieve the same effect. We have also the tachyphylaxis, the rapid decrease in responsiveness over a short time. Pharmacogenetics is the study of how hereditary or genetic differences affect an individual's response to drugs. Explains why individuals show wide variability in response, side effects, and metabolism. So, key takeaways, safety margin. So, yung safety margin natin is the therapeutic index is essential for determining the drug safety profile and the need for monitoring. In terms of drug actions, you have the agonist with that activates receptors, while si antagonist is block them. So, kung aanuhin niyo yung agonist and antagonist, isipin niyo na lang yung locker key at saka yung padlock. Yung nagba-bind, 'di ba? Si agonist, while itong si agonist nagba-bind, nag-activate ng ano, nagkakaroon siya nag-initiate siya ng response, while itong si antagonist is nagba-bind lang siya pero walang response. Drug interaction can result in cancellation, antagonism, or enhanced effects, synergism, or potentation. Individual response in pharmacogenetics is vital for understanding and managing variability in patient response. So, yun lang. Thank you guys for listening. Sana may natutunan kayo. And if may mga tanong, you can ask na lang kami nila Mariela sa Ichi kapag may hindi kayo naintindihan um, sa may part na hindi kayo naintindihan. So, yun lang. Thank you.